Well, having personally never seen it, I'm just going to guess, if that's okay, because that's what you want. If we lay out the plot of like the show, you've got SpongeBob and his best friend Patrick. He works at the Big Barrel. That's not his name. They do Krabby Patties. They're not Krabby Patties. They're Krabby Patties. Under Mr. Krabs, he's got a neighbour called Squidward. Squidward doesn't like him. He's a bit of a dick. What is gonna happen? Do we think? Okay, I reckon they get in an argument with Squidward. No, I reckon they'll become friends in the end because that's how a musical works. There's pollution in the ocean, right? And they're struggling to live because of said pollution in the ocean. So, what they have to do, how would that work? Okay, what about if they befriend an animal that's both sea and land? Okay, they befriend an animal that is both sea and land, and then that could go onto land and tell all the people about what it's doing in the ocean. Or it could be a little child who they see and talks to them and then goes back and tells them about the pollution. But what they have to do in the meantime is pull all their resources together and defend against the polluted ocean. But there's hiccups along the way, as I reckon SpongeBob and Patrick are going to fall out. But then they'll get together in the end. If that's right, I think I deserve 100 quid. I'll be honest.
So, we all know that SpongeBob lives in, is it a place called Bikini Bottom? So he's there. Did I ever tell you how this place got its name? It's because one day in the sea, a girl's swimming and she'd lost her bikini bottom in a freak surfing accident. And they just drifted to the bottom of the ocean and these like kind of sea creatures just set up home inside. SpongeBob, don't actually know what sort of sea creature he is. Is a sponge a sea creature? Apparently so. There's also Patrick, he's a starfish, obviously. An octopus. Let's call him Octy. There's also Crabalicious, who owns the Krusty Krab restaurant down the street. Okay, so another day in Bikini Bottom. It's just a simple day, like SpongeBob and crew. Actually, octopus. What's that called? Octopus. Octy doesn't really like SpongeBob because SpongeBob blares like loud bubbles late at night. So yeah, they don't get along. They're next door neighbours because SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh my god, that's the opening. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants is how it starts. But it's like, it's got a lovely little orchestra, very lovely done. It's got a few harmonies there. SpongeBob SquarePants. And then there's just loads of harmonies. SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't even think there's any notes there. I don't even think it's a song. So that's how it starts. And it's just another day, like SpongeBob is just being a bit of a dick. Shaving off the top of his pineapple. All the leaves are going into Octy's little den, and he's like, gross. Obviously being underwater means gravity doesn't really exist, so it means like all these pineapple leaves that he just cut off, there's no control. He's trying to control them and keep them in the back garden. There's no control and they keep going into Octy's little den, and Patrick's helping, so he doesn't like Patrick either. SpongeBob and Patrick are BFFs. But one day Octy's like, ugh, SpongeBob, you're just a simple sponge. You'll never be as good as me, an octopus. Like, I can shoot ink out my nipples. So then SpongeBob was like, hell no, I'm not a simple sponge. And he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna stand up for sponges everywhere. I'm not a simple sponge. You're not a simple sponge. None of us are simple sponges. There's a few pirates swimming over, not in a boat, swimming with a treasure in like little backpacks on their back, and they're just swimming over, and they're like, what is this Bikini Bottom doing here? Must go look, might be treasure. Don't really know how pirates work, I'm not gonna lie. So swim down, holding their breath because they're humans, you know. They're like, don't put leaves into this Octy's back garden, get out. Patrick and SpongeBob go shelter at the Krusty Krab restaurant, where they get a nice little morsel. At the Krusty Krab, they serve crustaceans salads. It's like a Caesar salad, but a crustacean salad. I genuinely have no idea what happens next. So the SpongeBob makes a little op that's like, you can't call someone a simple sponge. That's rude. So it's now illegal. I don't really know who polices Bikini Bottom, but whoever does, let's call him Fisherina. Fisherina is like, nah, you can't do that. That's species. So we can't do that, so Octy's just like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Apparently he's Australian. This is all set on the Great Barrier Reef, so he's like, there's nothing else to do but call you a loser instead. And then SpongeBob's like, I'm not a loser. But there's no laws to say that you can't call someone a loser. So SpongeBob and Patrick are called losers for the rest of their day. But they don't really care because they live in a pineapple under the sea. End of the story. SpongeBob the loser, the geek, or whatever. That's the song in it. It's called SpongeBob the loser, the geek, or whatever. That Act 1 finale. It's a really good way to end an Act 1, if you ask me.
Oh, it's gonna be some kinky shit here. 3 hours later. Once upon a time, as Gino de Campo calls him, the bob of the square, like a sponge of the pants. Right, well I'm gonna presume the title song is the campfire song. Like, who wouldn't resurrect that beauty? They're definitely gonna have an issue with a campfire. They've probably been caught, I reckon it's like, you know, some sort of sequel to Finding Nemo. This sounds like just Be More Chill, but like in sponge form. Like in terms of the songs. It sounds like if it was cast, Will would be pre-cast as SpongeBob. It sounds like that kind of musical. Right, 3 hours later. So, something about Daddy knows best. I bet he does. Daddy knows best. Right, so who's SpongeBob's daddy? It's probably going to be... It's right, I've linked it. So, the sponge needed a bit of a side job. What's the guy called? The Krusty Krab. The lobster dude. I've got it. Fucking balls. What's his name? We're going to refer to him as... Lobster Man. So Lobster Man, who for some reason his eyes turns into, you know, the little dollar signs for, you know, no reason whatsoever. He becomes his, what's the word? Yeah, daddy do I is become, fucking, why can't I think of words today? Right, that's the word. So, okay, right, the lobster is SpongeBob's new sugar daddy. The story opens, the musical opens, and it's a wonderful day in Bikini Bottom. There's jellyfish going, there's that man in the corner who goes, 3 hours later. The entire time, you've got the fish that keeps screaming at him, you know, patties are being flipped, and the weird plankton, that dude, he's, you know, chilling, he's not too angry, he's fine. But once upon a time, no, after that, Plankton and his Krusty Bucket, I think his restaurant's called. Is it called that? No, it can't be. Anyway, so Plankton in his Krusty Bucket have invented a new device to take over the world, and realistically he just wants the formula for the Krabby Patty. So he finds a way, he creates some sort of machine that makes him really, really big. In the meantime, SpongeBob is looking for a bit of side action. Gary's gone down with corona and he needs to pay the bills. They don't have an NHS in America, they need it sorted. Bit of a shit show going on there, isn't it? Anyway, he's taken up this position as a side hoe, so a hoe on the side of Krusty the Krab. No, that's not his name. What's happened? Oh, but this was being kept a secret from his daughter, the whale thing. She doesn't know about it. SpongeBob was hesitant about this plan. He's like, no, we can't continue. She'll find out. And if it finds out, you know, shit's going to hit the fan. So at that point, there's this sort of this song, a mix between sort of Today For You from Rent and all that jazz. Mix between that called Daddy Knows Best, where he's basically SpongeBob going, oh, geez, I'm not sure about this. And he's going, it's fine, don't worry, I know best. Anyway, they had to edit the next scene to keep it, you know, PG rated. About 2/3 the way through the musical, the whale found out about this sort of love affair that's going on and decided, right, I'm going to storm off to the Krusty Bucket and work with Plankton. And together, Plankton becomes twice the size of the whale, and now the Krusty of the Krab's daughter is now Plankton's side bitch, I guess. Yeah, right, so yeah, no, that's right. So Plankton is going to go, right, I'm going to go just flip over their little bucket thing. I think ironically, I read that restaurant is ironically a lobster trap. There you go. There's lots of SpongeBob memorabilia, some of it's quite dark, but we won't go into that. Meanwhile, on the side, Patrick's still sleeping, so this is going on. They have no idea about it, but Krusty the Krab is in bits. SpongeBob is really a bit of a side story here. He's just got a musical named after him. The whale is the side bitch to the big Plankton, and Patrick's on a rock. So anyway, shit goes down. Plankton terrorizes the ocean. He goes down to the beach where there's a sea, which I don't understand the physics behind why there's a sea under the water. They sit on the beach and they think, you know, I'm gonna have to get that patty. How are we gonna do it? So what they do is they buy a nuke. They find some toxic waste from early 70s North Korea testing grounds, which is also where but some people believe SpongeBob is based. Oh, a fun fact. No, it's Russian nuclear waste. I'm based in the North Sea. He says, I'm gonna get the thing Krabby Patty recipe by blowing up the house, and then once the crab's blown up, maybe he'll give me the recipe. Not thinking it through, really. Anyway, so while SpongeBob was busy being a side bitch, Patrick came on just as they were about to nuke it. Patrick went, "Wait, guys, we don't have to do this." And you know, he's like a starfish, so he's here like this. He goes starfishes about and he talks to the whale, and the whale goes, "Oh gee, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done this, Dad." But it's too late, because giant plankton has primed the warheads and have got the nuclear launch codes. He's ready to go. So he gives him one last chance to ransom, and Krusty of the Crab says, "You can't have the recipe, but you can make SpongeBob your side hoe." He says no, he says, "I want the recipe." I said, fair enough. If I wanted a SpongeBob sponge that was a hoe, I could buy a sponge, he said. Just as he bent to push the nuclear launch code, Patrick of the Star of the Pink Fish thing brings out a Molotov, chucks it into the Krusty bucket, sets the thing on fire, destroys the launch buttons. It's fine, the nukes weren't in there. They were 200 miles, down sea. It was fine. He took precaution. This is based over a very long period of time. He's been planning this for years. The start of musical and the end musical was based over like an 8-year gap here. It's not like an overarching theme. And anyway, Patrick saved the day, and Sponge was like, "You know what? I think we should live life, and I'm not going to be Krusty's bitch anymore, but I'll keep working, flipping those paddies." Plankton, for some reason, still survives. So this was really back in the day. He used to have hair. It actually burnt off. And then the daughter was fine. Mr. Krabs! Got it. Right. That's what the arsehole's called. Right. Mr. Krabs. What a stupid name. I guess he's not a lobster then. Yeah, so, everything goes back, and in comes episode 1 of the original SpongeBob series.
SpongeBob, okay, so we have a sponge and he's yellow and his name's SpongeBob. He lives in the deep sea with his friend Patrick, who's a starfish. SpongeBob works at the Krusty Krab, and at the Krusty Krab he flips patties, and basically the plankton, he's the evil guy. He wants the secret recipe for the patties, and that's the general gist of the musical. So plankton, he creates this device, and it's called a patty recipe explanatory time zone, and that's a pret. And he's like, "Okay, I will use the pret to break into SpongeBob's house and steal his snail, who I've forgotten the name of. Gary! His snail Gary. And if I have the snail, then we will be able to get SpongeBob." The thing is that Gary leaves this trail. Yes, he leaves a snail trail, and SpongeBob and Patrick, with the help of their squirrel friend, I don't remember her name, let's call her Patricia. SpongeBob, Patrick and Patricia, oh my god, I just made the same name. They go to find Gary and save him, and then they get to Plankton's secret lair, and they find the pret, and they're like, "No, don't kill Gary, he doesn't know the recipe." And then Mr. Krabs comes in and he's like, "I have the recipe, but you will not get me." And then they have the recipe written down, and they're like, "Here's the recipe for the patties." And then Plankton releases them all, and he is then like, "Oh, I have the recipe, I'm going to bake it." And he follows the recipe and the method, and then it turns out it's a recipe for a cheese and ham toasty, and not for the burger recipe. And he's like, "You're minging managing among us," and then he's like, "Pret a manger, what a name! I will call my new restaurant it." And he makes cheese and ham toasties for all of the sea creatures to nibble on. And then, because he's plankton, he's very small, and only whales eat him. And then as he's like floating around in the sea of toasties, a whale comes and is like smelling the toasties and eats all of them and him. And SpongeBob saved the day. I don't really know what that was. And there's songs in there too, I forgot to mention that. There's the song about the wonderful taste of the toasty, and there's a song about how you cook a patty. There's a pirate song I actually think I've heard of. There's some sort of pirate song, maybe pirates come and they're trying to also get a toasty. And everyone's happy. The end.
There's SpongeBob, there's Patrick, and Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and they probably all go do something. Patrick does something stupid. He doesn't punch anyone, he's not aggressive. Mr. Krabs all in it for the money. Squidward's like, had enough of this shit. SpongeBob probably does something stupid as well with Patrick. They're stupid. They do go do something stupid. They sing a song about being stupid. Then they realise, SpongeBob realised something happened and he did something bad. So he has to fix it, but he's really not good at fixing it. And Patrick, he's the one doing stupid things. Squidward could be doing anything. Mr. Krabs probably getting money. There's probably a song about money called Money, where he's getting money. The squirrel, Sandy, is being a squirrel. I don't know what squirrels do underwater. SpongeBob then sings a song about something and it's magically fixed. Other than that, no idea.
and a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants, who's porous and yellow and absorbent as he. SpongeBob SquarePants, who does something you wish. Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't know. Right, so I think SpongeBob and Patrick, the starfish, are... Oh, I've got it. Oh, it's a musical. Okay. So the first song is a waking up song, and SpongeBob's in bed and he's just like, opening up, letting the sea water in. Does he have a job? Yeah, his job is a oh shit, yeah, he works at the Krabby Patty, I think, with the weird lobster man that I can't remember the name of. Mr. Krabs? Anyway, so yeah, he sings an opening number. Oh, and the snail, Gary, the snail is there and he dances. Oh, but in the musical, the snail has legs. It's exciting. They do a quick little opening number. Also, the whole thing is just one act because there's not that much to say. He gets out of bed, he goes to the shop, to the Krabby Patty where he works. It's like a burger restaurant under the sea, and Patrick's there, and then they do a like, oh, what can I say except you're welcome kind of song for being my friend. Oh, and then so Patrick's a starfish, right? 3 of his legs get cut off because that's is it antagonist? The mean person in the play. He comes and like acts, he's got a machete. The name of the antagonist is Mr. E, which stands for evil. He comes and machetes off Patrick's arms, 3 of them, but because he's an invertebrate, you know, a starfish, he can grow them back. And so then there's obviously a song like, oh, I'm cutting off your legs, and then there's SpongeBob's like, obviously he doesn't know that starfish can grow his legs back, so he like faints, and then there's a song about, there's a dream sequence because whilst he's fainted, and it's like I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss. I watched Enchanted the other day, so that's the song that was there in that section of the film, the musical. Then he wakes up because Gary kisses him. So SpongeBob goes off on like a quest to try and find a potion to regrow Patrick's legs because he's an idiot and he doesn't know that invertebrates can grow their legs back. Specifically starfish, not all invertebrates can, but that's not important. But Patrick's obviously just like healing his own legs. There's a song about that. Like there's a healing song. See the light as it shines in the sea, it heals me. I don't know. Cell growth is all I know. What am I doing? Yeah, that happens. SpongeBob comes back on his adventure to try and find potion, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, your legs are back. And then they have a fight sequence, and it's like, let's get down to business to have a healthy confrontation under the sea. Darling is better. Okay, yeah, this is a really good musical. I'd definitely watch it. Then they're friends again, and the last song that they sing is You Got a Friend in Me. Do 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 do. You got a friend in me. When the stream looks rough ahead and you're nautical miles from your nice warm pineapple, you just remember what your old pal said. Okay, I'm not singing anymore. The end.
It starts off with SpongeBob waking up and getting ready for work. He's woken up and he's just like explaining how a generic bikini bottom day goes for him. And yeah, he ends up getting to work. Mr. Krabs starts to lose control. Patrick comes along and he starts singing about how SpongeBob and Patrick are BFFs. Like, oh, they're all best friends forever. Maybe even Gary the Snail is involved in this one. They're all homies, aren't they? Squidward has had a go at SpongeBob, and now SpongeBob is a little bit upset, but SpongeBob can never be upset. He's always happy for some reason. He's even happier than I am, and that's worrying. So yeah, he's just singing about how the going is getting tough because work is hard, he's on minimum wage, he doesn't know the secret formula. He starts to realise that Squidward doesn't like him, and now he's all upset about how much of just a simple sponge he is. And he's like, I'll never be a cup, I'll just always be a sponge. I'm sorry, the cup was the first thing I saw. I'm in the kitchen. He's just a simple sponge. Daddy knows best. Pearl sings this about her dad, Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs is her dad. So Pearl sings this about her dad. But it's not the kind of song you think it is. About, oh, Daddy knows best, yeah. It's like Daddy thinks he knows best. It's the like, oh, sarcastic one. Oh, Daddy knows best. Yeah. So she's all mopey and upset about how, probably something her dad said to her, about how she can't do certain things. Okay, so Hero is my middle name. That's probably either sung by SpongeBob or the squirrel with the helmet thingy. Sandy the squirrel who lives underwater. Because squirrels live underwater now. 2020, y'all. About how powerful and mighty she is. It could also be sung by SpongeBob, but I just don't think so. Squidward, the Super Sea Star State. No. Somewhere along the plot that I missed, someone's stolen something, or someone's done something. So now SpongeBob is going off to go find whatever's happened. Like, just go fix it, because he's the Super Sea Star Savior. So SpongeBob and Patrick are all tired from their journeys and their travels. So they decide to go to sleep, and they're gonna wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day that they will conquer everything. I feel like Plankton needs a song somewhere, but I've probably missed that, haven't I? They bump into some pirates on the way, and they've just slain him. So SpongeBob has gone all like kung fu karate and like with his sword and just slit their throat. We love a good slit throat in SpongeBob. Yeah, let's make this 12+. So he's celebrating that he's just killed a bunch of pirates in a kids musical, and he is dancing the night away at the bottom of Bikini Bottom. Thought I just had a realization about Bikini Bottom, but I don't even know where my mind was going. So he's trying to chop his way up to the top of this cliff, and he's like, oh, we're gonna chop to the top, slip and slide and climb this mountain. Unfortunately, SpongeBob wasn't able to bring his pet snail who meows Gary with him. So now he's just sitting sadly in a corner about how much he misses Gary the snail. And like, it's one of those ones where like the atmosphere is very blue. I mean, they're underwater, so of course it's gonna be blue, but like everything is set very blue. You got like the little sparkly stuff sitting there. He's just sitting, knees and arms, staring up with his big eyes just all teary-upped. Teary-upped? Yeah, sure. And he's upset because he misses his pet snail who meows Gary. SpongeBob and Patrick have had a fight because SpongeBob has called him a loser. And now Patrick is all like, no, I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser. He's not a loser. It's the best day ever, best day ever. It's the best day ever. Best day ever. They've conquered the beast and they're back to the shop. What's the shop called? The restaurant. Wherever SpongeBob works. They're back there and they're happy because they won.